Welcome to round 3 from NOLA for the Formula Regional Americas powered by Honda. All 5 lights are on, they're out, and we are away. Raoul Hyman from the pole gets a pretty good jump, but they fan out 4 wide behind him as they head down toward turn number 1. It looks like Hyman is going to sweep into the lead. Nico Christodoulou will try to follow him through as he's side by side with Dylan Tavella. Matt Clark and Jason Alder side by side just behind them. Not a settled deal by any means as Hyman with the lead, but Tavella and Nico Christodoulou going after it. Here comes Matt Clark deep on the brakes, trying to get aside Nico Christodoulou, but Dylan Tavella holding on to that second spot for the moment as they come down into turn number 4. Making the run down toward turn 5. Christodoulou there in 4th, then Matt Clark, then Jason Alder as they work their way through turn 6. This has been an area of some contention for Raoul Hyman as he's had a couple oversteer moments right there at turn 6. But down into the S's for the first time as everyone line astern into that high-speed transition through turn 8, 9, 10, 11. Finally out of turn 12 and into the braking zone at turn 13. Hyman your leader, Tavella in 2nd, Christodoulou 3rd, Matt Clark in 4th as we're heading up to complete race lap number 1. Look at Tavella right on the gearbox of Hyman as they come to the flag. Hyman ducks over to the inside to try to protect that inside line for turn 1. Tavella's got a good run, however. Here he comes, Hyman guarding the inside. Tavella decides to send it. Alongside he comes as they come through turn 1. Oh, Hyman gets a little squirrely. They touch side to side, but they hold on to that position right there. Hyman just to the outside of Dylan Tavella. And behind him, Jason Alder side by side with Matt Clark. Nico Christodoulou in the thick of it as we're on board with Hyman, with Tavella now at the point. As Hyman tries to respond to that bold overtaking move from Dylan Tavella at turn 1. Tavella stretching it just a bit as Hyman, Christodoulou, and Jason Alder give chase 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The top 3 about equally spread as it looks like Matt Clark has gotten around Jason Alder to move up into that 4th spot. Meanwhile, Dylan Tavella with the advantage. Raoul Hyman right behind him. Right behind him is Nico Christodoulou, then Matt Clark. And he has his hands full with Jason Alder. A big lockup from Dylan Tavella. That's going to cost him some time. Hyman able to close up as they work their way through turn 14, now into the double right-hander at turn 15, which leads on to the front straightaway. Good look at Matt Clark, the round 1 winner. Finds himself back in 4th right at the moment as they cross the line to complete race lap 2. Everybody stays line astern as they head down into turn number 1. Somebody going wide. Looks like Jason Alder may have gone a little deep, and that's put Ryan Yardley in a position to try to take over that position. Alder was just behind Matt Clark in 5th. There goes Yardley sending it down to the inside as we go on board with Alder, trying to fight back. Yardley in the 78, just to his left as Alder holds his own down into turn 4 and able to retake that position, it appears, with Yardley right in his wheel tracks. And just behind them, Nick Persing. Marco Kacic a couple places back. Kacic back in 9th place. As he works his way through the field. And a full course yellow is out, we believe, for the disabled car of Rodrigo Gutierrez, who will need to be picked up. The safety car into the pit lane as we're ready for the restart. Dylan Tavella still weaving, getting the debris off those tires, getting them up to temperature. Raoul Hyman tucked right on his gearbox as Tavella drops the hammer and we accelerate away as we'll be completing race lap number 4. Hyman running in second. Notice him checking his mirrors, as his mirrors are full of the 22 of Nico Christodoulou. Down into turn 1 they come. Christodoulou holds station with Matt Clark just behind him. But everybody bunched up here after the restart. Dylan Tavella at the point. We ride with Raoul Hyman chasing, gets a little tighter line through turn 3, but can't turn that into much of an advantage as they head down to turn 4 once again. Hyman a little bit tighter to the apex, but Tavella able to scoot away from that apex and re-establish his advantage. Meanwhile, Christodoulou all over the back of Matt Clark, with Jason Alder just behind him. And Clark goes wide, drops a wheel off. A bucking Bronco is that 25 car, and he's going to lose 2 positions, as both Nico Christodoulou and Jason Alder got by him. And here comes the 78 of Ryan Yardley. Now Nick Persing right on the back of Matt Clark. So that was a very costly mistake there at turn 7, as he dropped 2 wheels off and had to get out of the gas before he could get back on track with dirty tires to boot. So Christodoulou now up into 3rd spot with the 77 of Jason Alder just behind him. Christodoulou for Velocity Racing Development, Jason Alder, one of the TJ Speed drivers. He and Raoul Hyman on the TJ Speed crew. There's the 78 of Yardley, then Matt Clark. We can see the 91 of Cooper Becklin trying to make a move. It looks like he got around Hayden Bowlsbey to move up 1 spot. Meanwhile, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th in your shot, as 1st and 2nd in the distance heading into turn 4. Matt Clark trying to recover the ground lost a couple laps ago as he dropped a wheel off. Becklin holding on to that advantage over Hayden Bowlsbey for 10th and 11th. We ride with Marco Kacic just ahead of them. There's Jason Alder again, now in that 4th spot with Nico Christodoulou just in front. Alder looking for a way onto the podium spots. He gets a good run through the S's, tries an outside pass at turn 13. Deep on the brakes, can't get it done. Christodoulou driving defensively, guarding that inside line, making Alder go around the long way. We'll see who gets the better run onto the front straightaway here, and perhaps a chance for an overtake down into turn number 1, as this battle for 3rd is nose to tail. Starting lap 7 as they head down into turn number 1. Alder not quite close enough to make a bid here, as we see him right on the tail of Nico Christodoulou. They head down toward turn number 3. A little lockup there from one of the leaders, but Christodoulou holding his own at the exit of 3. Up towards turn number 4 they come, with Jason Alder right in his wheel tracks. Alder trying a little tighter line. You can see Christodoulou's car stepping out just a bit as they head into turn number 5, the first of 3 consecutive right-handers. High-speed turns, you can hear the drivers having to feather the throttle as Christodoulou goes just a little wide and has to catch it. That gives Alder a little more of an opportunity to close up as we stay with this battle for 3rd. Just behind, an equally good battle between Ryan Yardley and Matt Clark, the round 1 winner. As this 3rd place battle down into turn 13, once again a lockup from Christodoulou as he was a little too late on the brakes. That's given Alder new life, and of course right behind him Ryan Yardley is closed up as well. A great 4-way battle for the final step on the podium, as the 4 of them accelerate onto the straightaway. Beginning race lap number 8. Dylan Tavella comfortably in front Raoul Hyman in second spot. Then Christodoulou. Here comes the 77 of Alder as he dives down to the inside. Christodoulou fights back, however, and maintains the advantage, but here comes Ryan Yardley in the 78 as he tries to go inside the 77 of Jason Alder. Matt Clark right there to pick up the pieces. They touch at the apex of turn 3. Alder still with the advantage. Yardley looking for a way around. Here comes Clark, going to try to go around the outside of Ryan Yardley. Can't make that stick. This is close quarters racing for the final step on the podium. They head to turn 5. Christodoulou, Alder, Yardley, and Clark in that order. Clark getting a good run through the top part of the racetrack. Right behind him, Nick Persing, as he tries to close down and make this a 5-way battle for third spot. Christodoulou with the advantage at the moment, but coming under serious pressure from Jason Alder. Ryan Yardley, Matt Clark, and Nick Persing all in this battle. Approaching the end of lap 8. Once again, it's who can get the best run down toward turn 1. Yardley looking racy here as Alder chasing after Christodoulou in front of him. On the brakes for turn 1, Alder closes, but not close enough to make a pass. Nico Christodoulou hangs on to that spot. Down into turn 3. Yardley trying to go around the outside as Alder ducks to the inside of Christodoulou. He's got a nose ahead. Can he get in front? He does. Now Christodoulou's going to fight back on the inside, but Alder able to hold him off, so Jason Alder moves up into third spot. Nico Christodoulou just behind him, then Ryan Yardley, as we ride with Matt Clark just behind Yardley. So that's third, fourth, fifth, and sixth where we ride. As Jason Alder looks to be stretching it just a bit now once he got around Nico Christodoulou, the TJ Speed Motorsports driver, able to strengthen his advantage. Christodoulou for Velocity Racing Development, Ryan Yardley just behind him out of Christchurch, New Zealand for Crosslink Kiwi. And a big lockup from Christodoulou once again. That opens the door for Yardley to go around the outside. Yardley and Christodoulou, this is the battle for fourth. Yardley with a nose ahead and looks like he's got it done. Matt Clark says, I'll take some of that as well, as he dives to the inside of turn 15. Can't quite get the job done, but Christodoulou drops back another spot with Ryan Yardley now up into fourth. Here's your second place runner. Jason Alder in third. The battle for fourth is not settled. Ryan Yardley with that position. As he heads down toward turn number 3. Right behind him, Nico Christodoulou trying to get that spot back. As we ride with Nick Persing just behind Matt Clark. That 4-way battle just in front of us. Clark dives to the inside of Christodoulou and takes over the spot. Now Nick Persing going to try to do the same thing as they head down toward turn number 5. Persing, also one of the TJ Speed drivers, teammate to Jason Alder, as well as second place runner Raoul Hyman. So Nico Christodoulou losing a couple spots in as many laps, as Jason Alder getting away from that battle. Ryan Yardley, then Matt Clark, then Christodoulou, and Nick Persing. As this battle spreads out just a little bit, the battle between Persing and Christodoulou, the best of that bunch. We ride with Nick Persing right now, as the Californian from Morgan Hill, California, just outside of San Francisco, piles the pressure on Nico Christodoulou, the Canadian out of Maple, Ontario, Canada. There's your leader, Dylan Tavella. Second place, Raoul Hyman. New third place runner, the 77 of Jason Alder, who started in second spot. Christodoulou with his hands full of Nick Persing. We ride with our second place runner, Raoul Hyman, who has no answer at this point for Dylan Tavella, who's got a pretty comfortable advantage as they bend it out of turn 4 and onto the little short chute heading down toward turn 5. Jason Alder, again, after getting around those two in front of him, has been able to stretch the advantage. Here's Alder as he takes a little too much curb and that tail tries to step away from him. But he gathers it up, drops a wheel off to the outside there. So Jason's got to tighten up his line here just a bit. Here comes Matt Clark now, all over the back of the 78 of Ryan Yardley. Clark for Future Star Racing. Yardley, one of the Crosslink Kiwi drivers, as at the moment the New Zealander holding off the Canadian. Matt Clark out of Campbellville, Ontario. A very international field, even though this is the Formula Regional Americas Championship. It is open to all comers. And we have 6 states in the U.S. and 5 countries represented in the starting grid. We stay with Matt Clark as he keeps the pressure on Ryan Yardley, trying to move up into that 4th position, but Yardley holding his own right now. Dylan Tavella, the overall leader, well out in front, just hitting his marks, maintaining his lead. I'm sure he's in radio communication with his crew, who will give him intervals back to Raoul Hyman. But at the moment, it doesn't appear that Hyman's able to mount much of a challenge, as Tavella stretching his advantage now to almost the length of that little short chute between the exit of 4 and turn 5. You can see Tavella in the distance there as Raoul Hyman clips the apex of turn 6 and turn 7, heading to the S's. A little adjustment of the mirror there by the South African. Dylan Tavella with a comfortable lead. Hyman in turn with a comfortable lead over the 3rd place runner, the 77 of Jason Alder. So we follow our leader, Dylan Tavella, as he heads through turns 15 and 16. Nice clip of the apex as he heads out of 16. A little further back, Ryan Yardley still being hounded by Matt Clark. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. Clark can get close, but has yet to be able to make the pass as Yardley stretches the lead just a bit down the straightaway toward turn number 1. As we complete race lap 12, working 13 into the second half of this race. As Clark closes up under braking, but not close enough. Heading down into turn 3, another overtaking opportunity. But Yardley able to maintain the advantage out of turn 3 as they head back to turn number 4. Matt Clark able to get close as we ride with him now, but not quite close enough. They bend it through turn 5. We go back to our 3rd place runner, that's Jason Alder, with clear track in front of him as the 2nd place runner, Raoul Hyman, is a ways up ahead. But it does appear that Alder may be closing that interval a bit. We'll keep an eye on those two as they work their way through the S's. It appeared that Alder was about as far behind Hyman as Dylan Tavella was in front of him. But it appears to me that he is closing the gap as Jason Alder clicks off yet another lap, working to complete race lap 13. Right out to the edge of the track as he gives chase. Still about equally spaced, I would call it. If anything, Alder's a little closer. He's certainly pulled away from the battle behind him with Ryan Yardley and Matt Clark. They in turn have dropped Nico Christodoulou. So we stay with this battle for 4th and 5th, with Yardley in the position and Clark trying to retake it. Clark, if you'll remember, up into fourth in the early laps, but then had that miscue at turn 7 where he dropped 2 wheels off and dropped back a couple spots, and he's been trying to recover from that ever since, eventually retaking 5th position. But that's where he's stuck right at the moment, as Ryan Yardley, the New Zealander, doing a great job keeping him behind. Right now, this is the closest battle on the racetrack. As you can see, the 77 up ahead of Jason Alder. Yardley on the brakes for turn 13 as Alder flashes by in the foreground. Nico Christodoulou just coming into 13 in the background of that shot. Ryan Yardley appears to have things under control at the moment, as the top 3 up ahead in the same camera shot, and it is definitely closer between Raoul Hyman and Jason Alder. The 77 is making up some ground. We stay with this 4th place battle. Clark right on his gearbox, but can't get close enough to pop out and attempt to pass. Ryan Yardley, Mac Clark, New Zealander and Canadian, work their way towards turn number 4. As this battle stays one of the best on the track, but not much evolution, as Mac Clark hasn't been able to find the secret to get around Ryan Yardley. Yardley with a nice smooth line, as is Clark, as they're both not giving anything away. But look in the background, there you see our 2nd place runner, Raoul Hyman, and coming quickly is the 77 of Jason Alder. Those two are teammates on the TJ Speed team, and Ryan Yardley appears to have the better car at the moment, as we're well into the second half of this race, just now completing race lap 15. But Alder is definitely coming, as we'll keep an eye on his progress, as he can now see his teammate up in front. And that's a little extra incentive to push that much harder. Remember, Raoul Hyman from the pole led for the first couple laps, but then Dylan Tavella, in a very brave move down into turn number 1, was able to work his way up to the front and has checked out ever since. But as we ride along with Jason Alder, he gets ever closer to the 27 of Raoul Hyman. They track through turn number 5. Jason Alder drops a wheel off to the outside. That's going to cost him a little time, but a good indication that he's pushing hard, trying to get himself up into 2nd spot. He's on the podium as it sits right now, but 2nd is 1 spot better than 3rd. And Jason Alder looks that he might like to take that spot from his teammate. Out of turn 14, past the pit entrance. Alder is definitely closing. Nice clean exit on the final turn as they come across the line. Let's see if Alder's close enough to pop out and attempt a late braking maneuver. He's still a little too far back, but cue the Jaws music. He appears to be stalking Raoul Hyman. As we're into the final handful of laps here, this 35-minute timed race, with just the single full course yellow to recover the disabled car of Rodrigo Gutierrez. Alder a little closer each turn, it seems, as they work their way through turns 5 on to 6 Hyman missing the apex there of turn 6, maybe just a little bit wide. Clips it nicely at 7, however, as they make their way toward the S's. We'll see if Alder's able to close up during these twisty bits, indicating that Hyman's car may be off its peak just a little bit. This is the final race of the weekend for these drivers, so they're working on probably the oldest tires they've had to contend with. And perhaps Hyman's are going away at a little better rate, but Jason Alder is indeed picking up ground in big chunks, as Raoul Hyman appears to be struggling just a bit to maintain the pace. Onto the front straightaway they come once again. Alder not able to close up much in the straightaway. Let's see if he can be late on the brakes, as they're working their way around the lapped car of Kevin Janzen, who pulls aside and lets them through. Oh, a little wiggle from Raoul Hyman, as he is obviously pushing hard, and Alder sends it to the outside of turn 3. Stays right with him. Hyman trying to fight back. We get back on board with Raoul Hyman, as he's going to try to pull the over-under here, but Jason Alder guarding the inside line and gets a good run off of turn 4. Jason Alder up into second spot as we're in the closing laps of this one. Raoul Hyman powerless to re-challenge, as it appears his car may be off the boil just ever so slightly. He's still running strong enough to be well out in front of the 4th place battle, but Jason Alder coming on strong in the closing laps, able to take over that spot. In the foreground, you just saw Dylan Tavella, the leader, disappear from view. These 3 well out in front of the 4th place battle,
but he may catch the leader
between the 78 of Ryan Yardley and the 25 of Matt Clark. That battle has subsided a bit as we come onto the front straightaway, completing race lap 18. Lap 19 underway. Raoul Hyman not going away quietly. He's still in contact. You can see Yardley and Matt Clark in the distance there coming onto the front straight. We go back to our leader, Dylan Tavella, who's led much of this race, took the lead on lap 2 and has not relinquished it. In fact, extended his lead rather dramatically. Jason Alder running quickly, though. Can he catch him with just a handful of laps remaining? Tavella onto the little short chute out of turn 4. There's Jason Alder. Can he make it close? He certainly was able to run down Raoul Hyman from a distance. Could he do the same to our leader? Tavella looking strong out of turn 7, heading toward the S's. A little peek at the mirrors just to see where his closest pursuer might be. Dylan looking for his second win of his career in Formula Regional Americas. He took a win at Road America a year ago. And if he's able to hang on, this would be his second career win, and first, of course, of the 2022 season. Nice and clean, hitting his marks. Coming to the line to complete race lap 19. As we can see, Jason Alder in the medium distance. His TJ Speed teammate Raoul Hyman there in 3rd. As the 4th place battle, no change there. Here's Jason Alder as we ride with him as he tries to chase down the leader, with just a couple laps remaining. Down into turn 3 for the 77. Jason Alder out of Baltimore, Maryland. As we mentioned in race 1, a driver who had aspirations to make it to NASCAR. He was riding, or driving, shall we say, with great success, legends in pavement oval racing, but decided to try his hand at the F4 US Championship and won on debut. Ended up finishing the championship in 3rd a year ago. And showing good speed here in his first full season in the Formula Regional Americas Championship. Dylan Tavella for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports smoothly through turn 14. Appears to be comfortably out in front, but Jason Alder pushing hard behind him. As Dylan comes onto the front straightaway, completing race lap number 20. I believe we will see the white flag this time by, and there it is. 1 lap to go for Dylan Tavella, looking for his first win on the season and his second of his career in Formula Regional Americas. Backing that up with 2 wins and 6 podiums in his 3-year F4 US Championship career. His highest finish in that championship was 4th in 2020, his last year. And then in 2021, as we mentioned, he moved up to the Formula Regional Americas Championship where he finished 7th in his inaugural season. But he's certainly looking to notch a win to his belt here in the first weekend of racing for Formula Regional Americas for 2022. Tavella into the S's for the final time. See a little blistering on that right front tire, but he's certainly got enough to keep it together and maintain his lead over Jason Alder. Down into turn 13 for the final time. Looking smooth. Up on the curbs. Out of 13 into 15. 2 more turns to go. And then the sprint down the straightaway for the win. Number 1 on the season for Dylan Tavella. He's already celebrating as he weaves his way and pumps his fist across the stripe. Your winner, Dylan Tavella, as he takes win number 2 of his career. Jason Alder, a great recovery drive after falling back to 5th, ends up 2nd. And from the pole, Raoul Hyman salvages a 3rd place finish.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
A very happy Dylan Tavella gets a hug from his dad. His 2nd win in the series.
Hey, Pops, how's that feel?
I don't want to say it in public. It feels damn good. Oh, but long time coming.
Sounds like you may have lost your voice a little bit.
Nah.
Ben Sissel getting me.
I'm a quick ball, yeah.
Dylan, what a weekend, man. How's it feel?
Oh man, it was finally I get to redeem myself after Coda. I was beating myself up all season, last season for not performing, and I'm happy to perform today and take home the win.